You're in the hot seat, so if that does you anything.
And that's for the record.
Let me see Lorna on here for you.
I think what seven,
Take a minute for her.
There you go. Someone's kind of,
Lorna's phone.
oh,
So,
let her in. There she is.
So do I have to ask her to unmute?
If you want to hear her. She should be able to hear us. Lorna, can you hear us?
I can now. Yep, go ahead.
Any better?
Not really, but I'm here for a little bit.
okay. 7 o'clock, we'll call a meeting to order. First thing on the agenda, well, first order of business is I'd like to table the minutes from the last meetings until the next meeting. If I can have a second for that.
Second.
All in favor for tabling?
Yep.
Okay, first thing on the agenda is solid waste.
You want to ask me questions or?
You wanna give an overview? If not, we'll go down.
And there are several increases, and on this first page, I'm assuming everybody got this page, Lisa, this thing you just handed me? I mean, it basically explains the increases right there. We got, we just signed our new contract with Waste Management, so it's a 5% increase each year. Previously, it was a 3% increase each year. They've gone up with their percentage, so 5% each year. And one of the other increases was in our printing line. We have to order new punch cards. That's gonna be a one-time thing for this year, or next year, 2025. And
Just identify what line you're talking about.
oh, I don't have that in front of me. I'm looking at this front page right here. I don't know if I have, is that in lines on this report?
there is,
Oh,
talking about that overview page right now.
okay, so.
Should be 2504.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah, 2504 is the printing line, which is increased.
And then disposal fees.
The disposal fees,
I guess
correct.
This isn't a question for you, but why are the salaries always changing? I mean, that should be pretty simple and straightforward. The benefits, maybe if you're getting new information, overtime really shouldn't be. And the pension, everybody's changed since the last meeting.
We rounded to the next few dollars, Scott, so that we didn't have cents.
Well, I'm looking at his budget, it went up by $4,300, so. You know, I'm not so sure about that, but, you know, those three lines pretty much wages, benefits and pension. Pretty much changed across the board.
Did you hire someone new or?
No,
No.
I
I think there's been adjustments, the numbers are small,
They-
but I question why they're changing, it has nothing to do with
no,
you.
I didn't adjust that. No, I understand that.
So is it something that you've adjusted, Lisa, or?
Lorna and I have been making adjustments, partially due to information that we're getting and partially due to information that you guys have come back with, like, asking the question about the, family paid leave.
Where's
going
that?
from- That's within the benefits.
And we
so-
reduced that from 1% to 0.5%.
We show that as a separate line item.
Yeah, I really think that should be its own line.
Yeah, should be its own line item. I guess that's would be my opinion. I'm only with one person on the committee, but
I'm a bottom line guy. You
yeah,
guys argue that individual one.
Well, the problem is it's new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really consider it a benefit. I consider it more of a tax.
Well, it's a state,
The taxes are
It's
all within
mandated.
the benefits.
so I agree with Scott and,
Bruce.
Bruce, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem.
There, it should be another line to give transparency to what's going on. I know that some people just like everything just consolidated, but the more lines, the more transparency, that's the way I see it anyways.
What did you decide? We were talking about. Belgrade paying all of it. We were talking about employees paying half of it. It was even mentioned that we ought to have the employees pay all of it. That way they'll know. What it's costing and maybe they'll uprise and say this isn't as good as I thought it was. I don't know. What have you decided? What is reflected in these figures for that?
Currently, it's at 0.5%.
0.5%.
So we either, the town either pays the whole 1% or half of it,
Right.
so.
I think that was the discussion at the last meeting,
Yeah.
Sarah. I think Sarah, Scott and Bruce, you remember that.
Yeah.
That you thought the employees should take some ownership or have some ownership in it, so 0.5% and then the town 0.5%. Is that correct?
That's
Yes,
correct.
that's correct.
Okay. So that is reflected in that number?
Mhm. Thank you.
You're
So-
welcome.
So can we show that? A separate line item, just so we know what that is gonna cost per,
I
Lisa, can we create something?
yeah,
I can create that. I just want to be specific. Are you asking for only the family paid leave to have its separate line? Or are you asking for all the taxes within the benefits to have its own separate line?
No, just the paid family medical leave because it's new. We've all kept all the benefits together.
When you say all the taxes, what do you mean?
Well, because the taxes are also kind of
in the benefit.
in the benefits.
Social Security,
Yeah,
federal,
fighting
and
Medicare.
We've always kept those together. There's no reason to break them out.
No reason. All right, the only reason I think we should have a separate line item is, we're now showing the pension separately, that used to be into the benefits, so. I think we should show this just, just for, so the taxpayers could have the opportunity to. Know why, it isn't very much money, trust me, we all know it's not very much money, but it is money.
Well, I think what it shows is it's not a benefit, it's tax.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm.
So the
asking to
benefit
clarify.
number is inflated, but there's really a bunch of taxes in there. So I think it should be broken out personally.
All of it including social security, Medicare.
Yep.
I'll go for that too.
Okay, I will too.
You mean each one of them,
Yeah.
break it out? We've
Yeah.
never done it before. You wanna do it now?
I think the more lines, more clarity, at least for me. More transparency.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it's not really a benefit.
No, it isn't. Your
Well-
vacation and sick time is a benefit.
Yeah, but social security is a benefit and
It's a tax.
it's a tax, but,
They don't have any choice. Benefits, normally you have a choice.
But wait, I'm a little confused. It's not budgeted though.
Yeah, it is. It's in the benefit line. It's very,
That's why.
What if we made a taxes line and put all of those in that taxes line? Would that be helpful?
Well, you're just asking to break this, I mean, it's not gonna change the budget at all.
no.
No,
You just
No,
ask to break it out into separate lines. From my perspective, I don't care. It's a number. But I guess you could break it out if you wanted. I'm not sure what you're gonna get out of it.
or understand how much we're paying and all those benefits.
You can
And
get
you-
that any
you-
day of the week by asking Lisa to run a report on it.
Well,
But
It's to
I
give
don't
it-
care one way or the other, to tell you the truth.
It's just so it's more transparent to the
It's
taxpayer.
not gonna change the budget,
No,
so,
Well, we could just put one number for the entire budget. It's
no,
not
I'm
gonna change
not
the
going
budget.
that far.
Well,
I won't
if you
go
carry
that
that
far.
thought through.
But the thing is, now you've gotta post every single paycheck,
System does it.
huh?
System should be
does it.
doing it.
It already posted.
Yeah,
All she has to do is take the totals.
yeah, I know my payroll
It's
program
gonna
does
take
it.
time to set it up, a couple of hours of setting it up,
You'll have to set
and
the
then it'll be
codes
done.
up.
But it'll take time to do. But then
But
it'll be
social
done.
security is still a benefit in that you.
It's a
the-
tax that I have to take out and pay taxes on.
Right, but it's a benefit to the employees when they retire.
I would say there's a benefit to the tax.
Whatever you want.
Because it is a
But,
tax.
Penny, I'm gonna give you a different view into it.
I'm sorry?
I'm gonna give you a different view into it. Generally, in this nation, social security is being taxed. It's chunks of money being taken out of there. And that tax is gonna go up in order to maintain the rest of us. So to the next years, we're gonna see that tax increase. So as our taxes keep increasing, we can tell the taxpayer, hey, listen, you know what? Social security went up. And we can demonstrate that if we have all separated. That's the reason why I think chasing after it now and have it all set up now is gonna help us in the future.
So what's the committee gonna recommend?
To have, we have a motion, we need to move a motion for that?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay, I will make a motion to have benefits be sectioned out accordingly to demonstrate Medicare's social security, family paid leave,
Federal,
and federal taxes as well.
federal and state withholdings.
Will be helpful.
I'll second that.
And vote?
Both.
Any other discussion on it? If not, all in favor? 4-4. 2 against.
Well, now that that's settled, back to me.
You know, quite honestly, I don't have any issues with, on the waste management and of his budget. The increases are in wages and benefits. And the tipping fees, which he really has no
No
control.
over whatsoever.
And then he reduced the skid steer, so that's pretty much it.
He had a flat budget until he had these things happen, so.
Well, yeah. I don't have a
And there was
choice.
no additions beyond what he said.
So, I mean, I'm good. with-
I'm good.
Yeah,
Why does printing miscellaneous go up?
That goes up, due to the punch cards. It costs me, just almost $1,000 every 2 years to print the
Oh.
punch cards for the punch cards.
Wow, I don't want to even stop having a punch card.
No. And it's $1,000, that's like $500 a year.
Yes, I see.
Anybody have any other questions on transfer station? What, you-
Hey, Bruce.
You can go home.
You got out of this way too easy, buddy.
It's so.
Wait a minute, I gotta know, is Dannon, it gonna be easy or is it gonna be really rough on him? Cause if it's gonna be rough, I'm staying.
We're gonna be really rough now. He earned it this time.
yeah.
Ladies, gentlemen, good night.
Recreation.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Lana.
See you,
Feel
Kenny.
better. See you later.
Thank you.
You didn't sign in.
So it looks like here, we did a shift from salary down to wages. And then we had a decrease in the benefit line. But pension and overtime,
I don't think we had, I don't even know if we had an overtime line until this year.
you do.
Yeah.
This is all done by administration,
Yeah, this is new.
Yeah.
so. And quite frankly, other than that, there's really not much going on here. You're flat pretty much, right? Am I missing something?
No, I don't think you were.
The only thing was the pool went up 1,000.
That's all licensing, right, Dan, on the pool?
The, pool, which one is that?
It's 3515.
35.
Did I get that right? Yeah, 35.
Yeah, you did.
Oh. I do have a question.
I'm not sure I see 3515, but if it went up,
That's under, hang on just a second.
It's on the second page, I think,
oh,
under repairs and maintenance, Dan.
Randy's.
yeah, yeah, so,
This is 3150.
yeah, there you go, I got it now. I thought it was, yeah. Yeah,
Especially
the
for-
opening and the closing for the pool, that's the expense for that.
It's small.
So I got first question. Are you the only one that's certified to do that?
That is correct,
So nobody else is certified to do that?
not yet. But we do have money in the education fund to get somebody certified.
Okay, so if we had that, I'm just periodically throwing this out there. And the other one that knows the best about it, because you've had a heck of a time with the pool for, since you started. If we had to hire that out to open and close that pool, maintain that pool. Do we have enough money in that? Is that budgeted enough money?
That's enough money to open and close the pool. I don't know if you'd be able to contract somebody to do you have to hire someone to do all the day-to-day testing and the chemicals. It has to be or you need to train somebody that works for the town.
Right now, you were doing that.
Yeah, I was, every day that the pool's in operation. Well, I don't need to test it every single day, but I should be running the numbers every single day for the pool
So
when it's open.
somebody, and throughout the winter, does that give enough time for somebody to get educated?
Oh, yeah,
to do
it's a
that?
2-day course.
Oh, okay.
It's a 2-day course. It was not hard, but.
That pool holding get together is.
Oh, surprisingly, yes, we've had a couple things that. I thought that there were a couple issues this year. I thought that there was a hole in the liner, but come to find out, it was just weeping water out of the back of the. Filter.
Do you have a fund to take care of that as it goes along, or you just budget year to year on it?
I think that would kind of fall into like,
Capital reserve.
yeah, that would have to come out. We'd have to go to the select board for that like we did last year. But. I did ask for a quote. To get the liner. For after this year. But it'll make it through this winter, but next summer, it's gonna have to probably get taken out and get a new
How
liner.
big was the quote?
I haven't gotten it back yet. But
I
yeah,
don't
that,
have 3515 on my sheet.
it just says repairs and maintenance. And I think
Oh.
that's,
Okay,
and I,
no problem.
yeah,
So I guess this is a question for Lorna. Lorna, you're gonna try to make sure you get probably more than one person certified for that pool?
I will speak with Dan before his last day and make sure we have a list of
Yeah.
things that we need to address. And I know that Dan, I shouldn't speak for him, but I'm assuming Dan would make himself available if I have a question and need to call and need information or a recommendation on something.
that is correct.
Thank you, Dan.
So it looked like a new line appeared, for Harris Computer Systems.
Yes. That
That's
also,
because, I'm sorry, that is because both the transfer station and our Parks and Recreation Department are accepting credit cards, and Harris is who provides our TRIO program. So the Harris line in both of those departments matches what you see under administration. That's a new cost for them. Did that make
Uh,
sense?
Yeah, where am I seeing that? underneath the transfer station?
Lisa, I know, Lisa, you put that in.
Yeah, I'm going back, it's under licenses, 4602.
Yeah. Second page,
It's, you'll see purchases, then licenses, there's computer system.
So. Okay, so I'm gonna ask a foolish question. Let me make sure I'm reading this right first.
one is, the waste one is 426. and,
Yeah.
The one for Dan is 750.
Yeah, so what's the difference?
Because, Dan also uses it to. The transfer station, he only uses it for credit cards, literally. Whereas Dan uses it also to track more items for, his rec program. I'm not sure all of what he uses it for, but you use it for other.
I say transfer station uses it for a lot of stuff for inventory and everything.
Audit report.
Yeah, we use it very
I have no
extensively,
idea why it would be more.
It's the same audit report that Dan has.
right?
That's how it got billed in Harris, so we would have to contact Harris and find out why then,
And I guess my next question would
because
be
that's
is,
the way the bill came through.
all right, because if this is something new, this charge showing up. So is this charge just for credit cards or is it for, because we've always had the other part of the program, there's always part of the trio bill, the town trio bill. It was always in that one trio bill. So I guess I'm kind of confused why we had,
But the trio bill actually runs through Inform Me. So is there a fee for Inform Me for running those
This came
Credit
directly from
card
Harris.
transactions?
This came directly from Harris.
because I'd kind of, if it's just for the credit cards, I'd kind of question if we're taking in enough money in credit cards to make it worthwhile paying that out,
We have a contract with the South Tips.
Yes.
We do have a contract, and
unfortunately.
they provide services to the two internal organizations here.
It's for here,
Yeah,
everything we do here, and they also do the other two,
okay,
and they, individually price
yeah,
it.
I got it, yeah.
Dan, I got a question
Go ahead.
on the other side of the, budget. So these are the expenses. How much was the revenue this year for, Jane Jerome for the rec? Like ballpark.
Revenue is at the package.
Is it?
I don't think I printed them off for you.
This is it in the back,
It's a separate,
as I say, it's not in that,
It's in your pack, yes. It's the last tab.
what's the,
I'm looking.
code? Oh, 35,
25 is recreation,
25?
yes.
Well, this filing since is 35 recreational program fees.
That's what I got too.
And oddly enough, there are no actuals for 23 or 24.
If you go, the second page.
Yeah.
Second page, third page.
There you go.
It's Department 25.
Yeah, Department 25. Sorry,
104.
Yeah. So 22 was 67, 23 was 103. 24 budget was 98.5 and 24 is 104.2. And we're budgeting 96.5.
why'd we drop down to 96.5 from 98.5?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'd rather be conservative on the
Yeah.
revenue. Because if you don't achieve that target, you just created a hole.
Yeah,
I
you
think
got
those
that.
were year to date at, the time we started back in.
Yeah, they might have been the yearly date when it started back.
Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah,
Back in
probably just remember
September,
that, yeah,
yes.
but that, I think that could probably sit right around 100.
I'm
I-
comfortable where it is. to be
Either the
honest with you.
96 or the 98, I mean,
Yeah,
granted.
I can't
Doesn't mean
guess.
anything to me. Just
Yeah.
go to the general, like into the capital reserve.
I would say it's gonna be right around 100. You know, like, but if we do 98.5 or we do one, I would rather go like between 90, and maybe we should bring that up to like 90, 98,
I'll put it at what you had last year.
98.5.
Yeah,
Yeah, cause there's a lot of variables that can change that pretty
You got
quick.
that right.
If you beat it, it's good, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a better idea. Thank you for that. And I think that we're gonna end up probably,
Well, you're not done, you for sure, after school stuff.
yeah, we're probably gonna get another.
I'd rather have you underestimate
Yeah.
than
Okay, yeah,
overestimate.
we'll go 98.5 again, I think.
Tell me what numbers later.
Yeah, we'll talk later about that. I'll definitely move that one up, but I can't speak that the programs are gonna sustain.
Well, it's not a huge amount, it's only $2,000, so you can just spread it.
But that 98.5 actually goes into to the town towards your budget. When you look at the warrant article, and then whatever's left over goes into the rec reserve.
yeah, so that's why I would definitely stay at the 98.
I
mean,
wouldn't go up any higher.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say 98.5, because you don't know, kids may drop off, or you may, you don't know. Program,
Epidemic.
but Dan's not here. Yeah, we're gonna be breaking somebody new in, so things, programming, kind of has a little shake with a new person, and so it's good to have a little bit of fluctuation next year.
I think you can go up and down.
So, anybody else have any other questions on recreational?
Nope. Good.
Boy, you got out of that way too easy, man.
Yeah,
Well, there aren't a lot of changes.
No, I didn't.
Must mean you're doing a good job, Dan.
trying. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Dan.
Thank you, Lorna.
Wanna miss you, Dan.
Yes, that's for sure.
I had a great time.
Let's kidnap him.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night, Dan.
My budget went down.
I just say,
I like
I say, you're
$15,000.
down, so you're down 10.82%.
Well,
Yeah, that's because of the,
Yeah.
however you're structuring the benefits, it went down 15 grand.
yeah,
Although there is a whole new pension line that's got money in it as well, so it's not quite 15,
yeah, that's,
but that's not
So-
not stuff that I've been doing.
over the last time we were here, yeah, that went down almost half. The salary, the wages line went up a little bit.
What else has gone up is there's an extra $1,000 in the contracted services line.
Right.
Because we have an interlibrary loan fee that we're gonna have to pay this year that's somewhere between $500 and $750, I think is what I'm saying. And that's what I got recommended to add. $200 more into the programming. I went over that this year. I figured I should add a couple $100 to that.
Don't worry about it. What's on the capital equipment though?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's up with the capital equipment line here, because that's not a line that is normally on my budget.
Well, are you looking to purchase anything like a computer or anything?
Well, that was, so there's 4003 capital equipment, then it goes 4004 equipment, and
Well, yeah,
Oh, yes.
So capital, usually there is a capital threshold. And normally capital ends up in a reserve account anyway, that's the best way to look at it, in my opinion. So I don't know, I have no idea what that's all about. It's the same from the last version we got, but apparently it's an increase.
I think what it is they just. 4003 switched to, 40-04 switched to 40-03.
That's right.
But there's,
Yeah.
Lisa, would you make a note to check that?
Yes, I will.
Because
Thank you.
yeah, because the request is on both of those lines, and I think it's only supposed to be on one of those
Oh,
lines.
yeah, 4003 was a brand new line.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just mirroring the other, it says capital equipment instead of equipment, and it's the same price, so I think that's like a mix-up right there.
Oh, probably should be
Because
below.
it's got a year to date
Yeah.
with no budget for 2024.
Yeah. My budget went down quite a bit. Is that decrease like reflected in an increase elsewhere that's not on my budget? Or
Well,
it's a pretty significant,
when you say a decrease, what are you looking at?
so like my 2024 budget has a benefits of $24,000. And the 2025 initial has a request of $5,661.
I'll double check that.
Oh, yeah, okay, cause like the
Yeah.
2024 year to date is at 20,635.
Yeah.
Yeah, good catch, Jared.
That's going to shoot my budget right back up if
Yeah.
that
You
changes.
probably got a flat budget there at all, real
Yeah.
close to. it.
It's
Yeah.
pretty darn close.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
It's probably supposed to be 25 and I may have
Oh,
missed the
okay.
two.
So my budget's going up then, not going down.
I apologize.
Easy come, easy go.
So we're missing 20 grand, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
It very well could be, if you look across, that it's probably.
So-
Exactly, I missed.
So the request will be actually for 123,000.
I apologize.
yes,
Then we'll catch it.
Well, if we look at the 24 budget, the benefit line was 24,000.
Yeah.
Correct. So that's obviously not right.
I was very much scratching my head about this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it's very rare when the benefits are about a third of your, well, it depends, I guess. But we're okay with the 5661 on the benefit line.
No, she's gonna add.
she's gonna, it's missing a two.
She didn't. put-
Well, I think the town is gonna go back and look at that.
Right, but,
Right.
I'm
And then-
wondering if we should be
Yeah.
looking at all of them, but.
oh,
No, I think what she said was she just neglected. to put the-
Well, the idea would be you'd go back and look at the other, make sure that the
Yeah.
same error didn't occur in the other ones.
the other departments.
And we have a line by line coming up with the select board,
Bite your tongue,
line by line.
bite your tongue.
I think I'm making this a no.
I think I missed the conversation earlier about benefits, but that's a new line there and
It's one of those things, I look these over and over and over. and over
Yeah.
and Over, but sometimes at the end, my eyes get a little crossed.
letters letters and numbers
what-
just kind of.
What I would suggest is taking, just doing a percentage of the benefits for the
Mhm.
wages and salaries. And see if it's consistent throughout or
Yeah.
close.
Mhm.
Then that way, when you see one that's way out of whack, you'll pick
Yeah.
up on it.
So was anybody else have anything on library?
No. not me.
Lana?
No, Jared usually has a pretty good budget, pretty flat.
Yeah, he usually does a good job.
All right,
Okay,
Thank you,
Jared.
Jared.
You're up.
Thank you.
have a good evening.
You too.
Yeah, cause like if I look at recreation and I look at wages compared to benefits. We're comparing 182,000 to 43,000. versus 81,000 to 25,000, so it seems.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things you need to know with recreation,
Oh, this, the
Is the
part-timers.
Part-timers.
partly that, but also we moved the salary into wages. Dan used to be,
Yeah,
for some
right.
reason, salary alone. And so we combined his salary and then the part-timers are in there too, so.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
It used to be salaried and now it's waged, so,
Yeah, I saw the shift on that.
yeah.
I believe
No.
that's what the budget committee discussed at the last meeting. You wanted everybody to be put into a wages line so that it
Right.
wasn't so confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, so the next thing we're on to social services, and we'll do social services first. And there's no change on that one, that's flat, so anybody have any question on social services?
No.
Okay, senior resource. That's
So what is that under? Under.
It's right under the social services. The department is 2002.
Under that plus. Now, you can keep going.
2002 is what it's under. It's flat, so.
Oh, yeah, okay, right.
Well, the sheriffs have gone up to $85 an hour. So I do know that, because I just.
They just told you.
Yep, they just told me on the phone, $85 an hour, $85. Yeah,
You can talk to Ted
85,
about
so
that.
it's, what is
He doesn't
that,
talk to me.
360? What is, yeah.
I don't know how many hours.
170, that's 340, so it's 340 for a 4-hour block, and they do 4-hour blocks only.
Yeah, but how many, I have to tell me how many in all they do for elections.
Well, they do a 4-hour block for Memorial Day, so it's 340.
Memorial Day, 4th of July and the holidays stroll.
Did we do 4th of July this year then?
No, we're only doing Memorial Day with sheriffs. The
there
4th of
anything-
July is not a town event.
Anything new in that area at all? I mean, these things are just every year they're the same.
Well,
The rate.
the
Rate goes up, yeah, but that's not, I mean, okay. I'm
You
glad.
need, well, you will have to account for the number of events, the number of hours times.
Yeah.
5.
But that's just pretty simple, you pay for some of those holidays,
That's the only one we pay for now is Memorial Day anyway, so,
who does for it?
the 4th is, business group has to pay for, 'cause that's
How
not,
they doing that?
that's not a town,
That's a good thing.
Well, it's 0.
yeah, that's not a town thing.
So, 9907 volunteer work. That, there's no budget there. I don't even know what it is.
I believe, I think, Mary, that is the volunteer work program, and we are in the process of combining that old ordinance
Oh, okay.
into a new ordinance for the senior property tax assistance.
Yeah.
So that's something that the select board is working on right now, and I'm working with legal counsel to get that together. So we should have something kind of finalized within the next month or so, I think.
So the programming miscellaneous went up 1,500 and the volunteer work went down 1,500, so. I don't know if that's a smart
Yeah, wash
part
it.
of what you're talking about.
So,
No, Mary, you can explain that.
yeah, so the programming, actually, we were looking to increase because these numbers are, I don't know if they're year to date as of today or when they are, but everything is not in
Yes.
there.
Oh,
Because our cost of running programs was increased, so. Because of the change in the new ordinance and the combination of the senior work ordinance and the senior tax ordinance. we moved the 1,500s that was in the senior work program into the senior program. So basically, instead of 3,500, we're 5,000 for our budget.
Okay,
For the year.
so year to date, when I think this is probably September, maybe, I don't know,
No, it was run 10/21.
and 20, okay.
Yeah, but all of our invoices haven't gone through, so, I mean, it's hard to run.
Well, but if you do a run rate on the, I had 1915 is what I had on the programming miscellaneous line. So a run rate on that. It's just a couple $100 difference is about 23 to 2,500, I guess. So, this is all small numbers in my opinion, but, so you need 5,000 on that line?
We'd like to have 5,000 to continue to, provide additional programming for seniors. A lot of our people that have been, they were paying out of pocket for supplies.
Oh,
and
okay,
Our volunteers, and so now I've got them to start submitting invoices for those, so there are some invoices that have not gone through yet, this next warrant. We'll see.
Mary,
Yes,
Mary, you're doing some great programming with trips as well, and transportation costs for that have increased, haven't they?
yeah, they have increased, and we were hoping to maybe, do something with Dan. But anyway, yeah, the increase in transportation has gone up significantly. Buses were costing us, just about,
yeah, that's fine.
1,200, they've gone up to $1,700
No worries.
for one trip, one day. So
Is anybody looking for grants for that program?
right now, no.
There's a ton of them out there.
Are you volunteering?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I need a good volunteer
No.
that can do the paperwork, because that's what I'm looking at, because, there's some paperwork for different things.
Denny's
No,
coming back
I
next.
say Dennis coming back next spring.
Yeah, I've already tried to hook him on to a couple of things, and he's, just said no.
What's next?
Anybody have anything else on senior? No, okay, so next thing is, general assistance, and that stayed flat. Actually, nothing to year to date.
Are we going to, the emergency fuel, is that the people who donate?
Yes.
Yeah,
It is.
that, I've said this a few times, I don't really think it should be in the general fund.
This is the donation from somebody?
You're not raising it by taxes. It should be another special revenue.
Yeah.
And also, what's been happening is they've been netting the contributions with what they've been paying out. So you're not really seeing what's coming in or going out because it's netted.
Yep.
So there should be.
Should be shown, yep, I agree with them.
So the next thing on the agenda is special request.
Well, are we gonna go ahead and show it as Scott has asked?
Oh, sorry,
Do we need a motion for that?
probably should have a motion to.
Yeah, it's fine.
You,
I'll make a motion that, fuel, emergency fuel. Fund. Ironic.
It's a donation.
Is it should be, moved out of the general fund and into other special revenue. Where the revenue and the expense can be shown.
And I'll second it.
any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
So the emergency fuel fund is in a special. It is in a special fund already, Scott.
Well, you also got it in the general
In
fund,
general,
so
so
I
it's
don't,
here.
I remember seeing this last year.
Yeah, you questioned this last year.
That is where the expense. But it is in.
Revenue and
Look at, if you look at special revenues and your account
Yeah.
for it, it is listed there.
It, It should have revenue and expense. Is it revenue and expense there?
Just the,
Revenue?
the total of the fund balance is there. The expense
well.
portion, I think, is in the warrant itself to allow for so much to be expended out of that budget.
But it shouldn't show in
Oh,
the
I
general
see what
fund
it is.
at
So
all.
so only the labels were wrong, shouldn't be called fund. Should-
I don't even know what it's doing here, to be honest with you, but I don't know.
So
Did it
that,
get-
I guess what the town was trying to do is to say that they had that much money to be able to dish away for fuel in that line. That's what they tried to say, but they label it wrong, if they put fund, it's misleading.
There shouldn't be anything in the general fund budget for this period.
Well, because it's a donation,
It's a donation.
Right, so it shouldn't be transferred from the donation to the general fund, if I'm understanding.
No, it shouldn't be. All transactions can happen in other special revenue.
so how, I guess then the question I have is, how the town is gonna account, how the accounting number is gonna happen.
Apparently, they're already doing it.
They're already
That's
doing
what's
it.
confusing to me.
Right, and it says a schedule of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances.
Yeah, right.
So that's how they have.
So
this.
apparently they have a statement for other special revenue
Okay,
and it's there already,
okay,
but. I mean, and granted, I mean, you know, there is nothing here.
okay, so the statement that you're making is that anything that is in the fund, general fund is raised by.
Taxes, correct.
That's good. Right. I appreciate it.
Should be a clear delineation
And.
Yeah, right,
it is-
exactly.
somewhere that you can understand.
Now, maybe it got moved, I don't know, and I wasn't aware of it, so
Shall we go there?
go where now?
So-
Uh-oh.
All of the accounts are in the general. Yeah, in the bank, and so what he's talking about is separation, and yes, it should be separated.
Which apparently you've done, I guess. So maybe this line is just a holdover from prior years.
On paper.
So on paper, so on paper, so it's technically in the general fund, it's not an account by itself.
And Lisa's working on moving things out.
Okay, so.
Well, this goes in minutes someplace, right? I mean, something you need to check to see.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
recorded.
And so the board, I think
And this
our
is-
goal is to advise you that
Right.
makes more sense to us another way.
Right.
Whether you do it or not is up to you guys.
Well, donated money shouldn't be going into.
No, it should be delineated,
Yeah,
but you're gonna put it in the bank.
right, yes, it's gotta go in a bank and it's gotta earn an enter, you
You're
know.
just gonna delineate it for a bookkeeping so that you
Right.
understand what it is.
But we have-
It's not income.
Many of these special
Not
funds are
taxes.
donated funds,
Right,
and the auditor has approved this setup, so.
And that happens frequently, when the
Yes.
auditor tells you to move something, you move it, and then we tell you to move it back someplace else. It gets a
Well,
little bit.
if you
disturbing.
get something else from the auditor, we should know about it. If it conflicts with what we're saying,
Yes.
but, to me, I think this one's pretty straightforward. I
I
wouldn't
think
see
if you
it.
leave it the way that it is, it looks to people like we are actually appropriating $5,000 for
From the
that.
from the
Well-
budget, yeah?
And we're not.
So if we go back to 2023. The actuals were $750. That is a net number. Because I remember talking to Nick about it. During that budget and the 24 budget. And I said, are you netting them? And he said, yeah. So I said, one, it doesn't belong in the general fund, and two, you shouldn't be netting it. Because I don't know if you remember, when Anthony's wife got up and said, well, I gave $2,000. I'm not seeing that anywhere.
very true. Yeah, you're right. I remember that conversation now. So you'll look into that, Lisa, and kind of get something back? Check with the auditor and,
And
Makes sense.
maybe Mary, Lisa and I can get together. Mary, you have historical knowledge of that fund.
But
maybe
see,
we can all sit together and go over that.
Well, because there are a lot of funds.
What audit is
And
that?
these,
What year?
excuse me,
What,
This is your book,
what count?
this is this year's book.
and there's.
Alright, so that's
You want one?
23 or 20, that's
This is,
23.
23.
Yeah, okay, so,
Yeah, so all these,
Yep.
these accounts right here are mostly all donations, set up as special
Yep.
funds.
If you want a copy, there's one there that you can take. Okay.
I'll take your word for it. So it sounds like it's being dealt.
Hit it, Bruce.
Okay, special request.
We don't have those yet. Those are usually the petitions.
Okay,
And what's that on it?
looks like it's,
Insurance,
Insurance is,
insurance is next, yep, insurance is next. The special request hasn't, nobody's made any special
nothing
request,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
Insurances,
Pretty much is what it is, right?
it is, we don't have any choice on it, other than,
It's going up 10.
Grabs the guy's floor.
Who's the insurance with?
MMA,
Health insurance.
MMA?
yeah.
yeah,
Well, we're, okay. Even the general liability?
A general liability to everyone to yes, management.
Okay.
Vehicles and everything.
Actually, through, the risk pool for the county, they were saying 15%. So this,
And yeah, we haven't got it. You don't know what that cost is gonna be.
We had in touch with you.
Yeah, I'd probably
In November.
err on the side of 15%.
yeah, I think, that's sort of what they're saying.
Nobody's gonna make out on that.
On these two hurricanes, no, we're all gonna pay for that.
Okay, what's next?
the debt services,
Seems like we're done.
the debt services was the only other thing that was on the agenda.
It looks so, oh, I know.
Eventually, we gotta talk about capital reserves too, right?
did anyone have questions on debt service?
Well, I got two tabs, debt service old and debt service new, so.
Yeah, the debt service old shows you the old paving bonds. It actually carries over quite a bit of information that's old. The new debt service tab that you saw, Scott, I got figures from the bond bank for decision making, both with paving next year and for the bond for the new fire station. Of course,
Okay.
that assumes we get the CDS grant and the fire station financing was already approved at a special town meeting. We had to have that as part of the grant process.
Where does that grant stand?
We're waiting to hear. We likely will not hear anything. The soonest would be December.
Yeah, it's set.
Yeah,
It's
go
right
ahead,
now,
Bruce.
it's gone through committee, so it's just waiting waiting for them to bring up the agriculture bill and budget.
That grant's
way-
gonna stand.
No.
The way
ever.
the way they explained it was we had 12 hurdles to jump over and we've jumped over 11.
Yeah.
So
Bless her.
they feel really good about it. We should not assume we will get it, but I think we feel good about it as well.
It's good
I
to see that we didn't use anything in the TAN for 2023 or 2024.
No,
So-
Nick monitored that pretty closely, but it's having a TAN is like having insurance.
Yeah,
You know, if we're waiting for tax revenue to come in and the account runs low, we've got something to draw from.
But don't you have a ton of fund balance you're sitting on?
No,
Well, I thought last year we had close to like 3.5 million or something like that.
But we have to keep that in supply to, by law for the school payment, is what I remember.
3 months of expenses.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. Where is that?
That's a rule of thumb,
Tell
but
you that same mindset is being inflicted by auditors all over the place in the state, including the school boards and the school.
Usually it's a percentage of your budget.
And it kills me because I face the same arguments in the school budget. I'm not sure, I'm not exactly who to believe on that one, Lorna. I'm not discrediting what you're saying. It's
Right.
just that it,
We felt we were below our 3 months when Lisa came. We were below.
Yeah. And then
And
we
so if we had paid, it didn't wait to pay off some bills. We very easily could have run.
why, tell me why any public entity will be sitting on a pack of 10% of the budget. Because
It doesn't just sit there, it's in operational. We're
no,
using
right
it.
now, the RSU is sitting on 10% of this budget,
They may be,
okay?
we are not.
And, well,
and
people understand the purpose of it, it's just, I don't, it
Do you
doesn't
have,
make
what,
sense.
10% of the budget in reserve?
Oh my God, yes,
You're kidding me.
no,
I mean, that's taxpayer money.
I'm
You
not
realize that.
kidding.
the,
Oh, that's
The-
town of Belgrade's taxes. Like,
No,
But-
that-
but-
I mean,
but the
it's
reason
all
behind
taxpayer
it-
money.
the
I don't
reason-
care where it comes
What I'm trying to read to you, Gary, is that the reasoning behind it is that, oh, if we have a major catastrophe going, so listen, we are coming, and the federal government help us, so I don't get it.
the good thing about the TAN, we're only paying the legal fee to get it set up. We have it available if we need it, but we're not paying anything if we don't use it. It's kind of like a HELOC, home equity line of credit. So it's there and available if
Are
we
you-
need to
The
draw
legal
from it.
fees are $7,000.
mhm.
I'm not
Gee,
seeing what
change
you're
our-
saying.
Wouldn't have to have a tan, would we?
No,
We go through.
Just an idea. It's been around now for about 20 years.
Legal fees are to get everything set up, so for the bonds, for the TAN,
no, I understand what it's for. It just seems like a lot of money for a tan.
You're saying, Lorna, that we take it, but if we don't use it, we don't get charged?
They ought to open
we
one.
we don't pay any
Cheaper.
interest. It's kind of like a home equity
Years.
line of credit.
Okay,
It's a line of credit.
It's an interest in $7,000 a year if you just opened up a line of credit.
You would. Yeah, you exactly would.
Why would you consider that?
Lorna,
Yeah,
could we look into opening up a line of credit instead of doing a bond, a TAN?
I certainly. Do you want me to do that?
I just was wondering if it wouldn't be cheaper, especially with the bank that we're using now.
Right, I'll check with Jason. I'll make a note to do that, Bruce.
I mean, Gary and Scott one that kind of came up with the idea, and
Well, Scott did.
I think it's a. I think
Doesn't
it's,
matter, just
Well,
look into it and find.
If it's a bad idea, I don't want,
You don't want it. Well, when Warner comes back and says it's a bad idea, I'll say, yeah.
Yeah.
Gary shouldn't have brought that. Yeah.
I remember it was Gary, it wasn't Scott.
so does anybody have any questions on the bonds?
how much is the tan? What the dollar amount?
Usually 2 million.
And what do we got in investments right now?
Oh my gosh, Lisa, do you have that in front of you? All I've got are papers. I don't have the book in front of me.
No, I don't.
Well,
Guesstimate.
what is the undesignated fund balance or,
Yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't been here long enough to memorize
I
that kind
think
of
it's a
stuff.
couple million, if I remember from last year. Actually, you got the report there.
Yeah.
Should
I
say
wanna,
right-
I wanna say that, that isn't that like, like double or triple the budget?
Wanda, do you know what's in the general fund at this time?
I do not. I do not have that in front of me, Bruce.
Okay,
That's why I wondered
Did
if
you
maybe
get that?
Lisa might have had that.
I didn't think you did, but I thought I'd ask.
She wouldn't have that at home. We should have it at home.
Well, there's 3.4 million in fund balance at the end of 23. Which actually went down. But I don't, oh, here we are, unrestricted.
Plus
Now we,
withdrawal.
and we have to account for all of the reserve accounts that are included in that.
The reserve account.
Yeah,
Well, that's what we're looking at unrestricted, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for. This doesn't break it down. And this net position, I'm not sure about.
I do.
Yeah, it gets very, audit report, it's very confusing.
Because basically it's this total net position 15 million.
I questioned that last year with
Yeah, and-
Lana and she's.
And then it says unrestricted 5.9.
Yeah.
Did you look at?
Either way,
68?
both over two. But they just need to look into a better way of doing it.
Well, this is, yeah, these are non-major permanent funds, so this isn't really the general fund, so to speak. If
And
you,
these all donated?
that, yeah, like it's it's all different. If you look at the top,
Yeah,
yeah, it's all different stuff. I'm looking at page, 64 and 65. See, the problem with this number is it includes the assets,
Oh, yes,
because it's gotta reconcile somehow, so this is a lot higher than. What I'd like to see is this broken out by restricted and
So-
unrestricted,
so
It's
page,
about 3.9
65.
should be in unrestricted, or in restricted. About 3.9, I think, is what Nick calculated before he left, should be in restricted, and that does not include the trust.
No, it wouldn't,
No, it
yeah,
doesn't.
right,
Those
that
are,
should be on its own somewhere.
it is on its own. No,
And-
about 3.9 we should have.
Yeah, this is 3.4. But see, that's everything.
That's all include your operation. That's right.
the
That
beginning of the year.
includes reserve accounts too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Because those are only funded on paper.
Yep, only funded on
Oh.
paper.
Well, I don't wanna get into this right now, so. I'll
So
deal
if
with that.
you assumed we had 3.9, I
Mhm.
think we have over 3 designated for our reserve accounts.
Mhm.
Mary, isn't that correct? We've been talking
think-
about this quite a bit.
Yeah, according to Nick, before he left, when he calculated the amount that we're supposed to have in those reserves and special funds, it should have been 3.9.
Right.
At the time it was calculated, our operational account had less than. So.
Okay.
So those reserve accounts really need to be taken into consideration during the budget process and what's designated out of.
yeah, cause it's what happens if one of them,
If one of them wants one of those big, large amounts,
Like
we
fire-
significantly
fire truck.
drop our operational account significantly.
like the fire truck.
Could be, and we very likely
Yeah.
use, you can recover.
So next year, looking at money from the fire station reserve, the public works for paving. And then if we were to purchase, I think I heard you say a fire truck, Bruce. So if you look at all, if you look at all of those reserves and you start pulling that money, that really, that's significant.
Very significant.
So I guess I'm kind of confused. So all for the last few years, we've been, instead of raising appropriating money and from tax dollars and putting it into a capital reserve, we're just trading money on paper that's not there.
It's there, it's not in a separate account to show you. Does that make sense? If you're looking at a hypothetical figure of 3.9 million, that includes all of those reserve accounts. Those
Well-
reserve accounts are not separate in a separate account. They're part of that balance.
Well, they should be on a general ledger.
They are
in
on
a general
paper.
ledger.
Yeah, that's fine, but then all those should add up to the total.
And we have that total amount of, if we added up every capital reserve, we have that dollar figure in the bank
Yes.
to pay, if we had to.
Yes, but what you're looking at, if you look at the fund and say you're sitting on $3.9 million, we can spend that. That is not accurate because all of those reserve accounts are part
Well-
of that 3.9.
Yeah, that's why we wanna know what's reserved or restricted versus.
And what's not, yes,
unrestricted.
yes, gotcha.
What's in the bank and what should be.
What's in, because you probably have a consolidated checking account, right?
Yeah,
Everything's one account, yeah,
Okay.
so.
So, yeah, so if we could get that,
Oh,
at least for the next meeting.
I thought you had some of those reserve accounts like the Don C. Stevens and those in separate
That's-
accounts.
That's.
That's separate. That's a trust.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
trust.
You do have those.
And Bar Harbor has
Yeah.
all the trusts.
Those are all investments.
Those are all,
Yes.
and they hold all those
Yeah.
funds.
Yeah.
They get quarterly reports.
It's the other reserve accounts and special funds, and if you look, there's quite a number of them that have been growing significantly.
Mhm.
Okay, does anybody else have anything on bonds? Nope. I have one question on that, maybe Scott got the answer, I've been sick, so I haven't. So on the code enforcement's salary, did you ever get the answer on what the difference in why there was such a wide? So I think I figured it out, because I've gone, unless the handbook has changed. When an employee, a town of Belgrade employee goes to 36 hours a week, that becomes a full-time employee, so that means.
no, that's not
not
true.
36 hours. No.
40
So-
hours is full-time.
So that.
wait a minute. What? Anything over, I thought it was like 30 or 32. is
Anything over
considered full-time.
anything over 32 hours is considered full-time state of Maine.
I didn't see that under,
That's why you have permanent part-time employees that are 32 hours a week. If you go over 32 hours a week, you're considered a full-time employee.
Yeah, we ran into
Where
that
is that,
problem.
labor law,
Huh?
where is that?
I believe it's in the-
Because it's been ever since I've been here, it's 40 hours a week.
I'll tell you what, I'll find it and send it to you.
okay, that would be great. The difference in the salary from 25 and 24, we went from 30 hours to the 36.
Yeah,
So
so Scott.
that-
Right, so Scott had a percentage, and I can't remember the percentage now, but Scott had a percentage that should have went up. And it was a large amount more than that percentage, and I can't remember what that percentage was now.
Hang on. Email our HR director, because I know she knows where that is. You do remember that, right? Hang on just a second. Yeah, it was like a 24% increase. Yeah, what you're talking about?
Yeah, and
Okay.
you said it was only should only be an X amount of percentage. So you wanted to know what the,
Why is it a 24% increase?
Well, okay, well, let's see, do I have a note here?
In 2024, we were budgeted 30 hours. In 2025, we're budgeting 36.
36 hours, right?
yeah.
That makes sense to me.
But the percentage, but the 6 hours difference wasn't enough. You said it was, should have
It
been,
seemed like it was.
yeah, it was more budgeted than it should have been. So we're supposed to get an answer back on that, because somebody was supposed to go in and look at that and see why it was. such-
Yeah, cause it's about hour wise, it's only 20% increase. Pay wise, it went up 24%, but if you do factor in maybe an increase in salary, that could be the difference. But the benefits went up 29%, which was sort of,
Yeah, I think that's, yeah. So if we could get an answer on that for the next
I'll
meeting. appreciate it.
Yes, I'll make a note.
And one other thing, because it's one of my pet peeves, and Gary remembers when he was select person. Could we get a breakdown of what we spent and what it was for attorney fees? For the year?
That should be easy. Lisa, can you run a trio report for that line and email that out to the committee?
Thank you.
Okay,
It's
thank
just
you.
pet peeve, I'm sorry.
What difference does it make?
It just does,
You're gonna
I,
pay it regardless.
I always trace that one. I don't like paying foolish, I hate attorney fees.
Well, I agree with you.
The-
You can't-
yeah.
We just discussing the $7,500. If there's something we're paying foolishly for attorney fees, I think it needs to be discussed.
Well, the Supreme Court of Maine just passed a law that threw the planning board, ordinance into a tizzy, and now we've gotta have the attorney come and help us.
Yeah, I mean, that drives up attorney fees.
I drive that attorney fee.
Absolutely.
All right,
What happens to
And
state?
help it.
yeah. But if we're having,
Which is ridiculous to me, but then,
You and me both.
I mean, the idea that you need an attorney for that board, although it's the only committee that has really any power. I don't know.
Let me put it this way, I won't want their job. I deal with a lot of sometimes angry people.
So have we completed?
I think we've completed for tonight, Lisa. That everything that you wanted in Lorna wanted completed?
Yes, I think that wraps it up.
Okay,
Get better, Lorna.
does anybody have
you.
anything else? No, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
And you got us.
Second,
All in favor?
Yeah.
well, done.
Do we need to
Thanks,
do this
everyone.
book here for adjustments?
Oh, that's, oh, yeah.
well, but if you just focus on the changes. then-
Now, when we get, I know next week, get before the select board. I know you're gonna skip out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorna.
We may have to do one more, we may have to one more once we,
Up for yesterday?
well, not that, just once we get our schedule from the select board, we may. Some of the stuff in, we're trying to get, it may be a short meeting,
Okay.
just before, so we can have everything ready for
Yep.
board and. Maybe we'll have some of these other, cause I'm sure once we get to this capital reserve thing, we're probably all gonna have a lot of questions on that, so.
Some of you will.
You will too, Mr. Mullin.
No.
So you have to end